here's the top of the odds boards. Oregon, 9, even split. Arizona State, 9, even split. USC, 9, juiced to the under. Washington, 9, juiced to the under. Utah, 8.5, juiced to the under. So will anybody win 10 games? According to the juice, Oregon and Arizona State might actually be the teams that finish with the higher win totals. Now, again, because this is the Pac-12, you play 9 conference games. Your division winners are settled by those conference records. Washington plays Michigan. Like there's some pieces in that I could see a team finishing with a higher or equal win total, but not necessarily winning the division. But are Oregon and Arizona State, are we assuming that they are the favorites in their respective divisions? And what do we make of this Pac-12, which, much like Danny, your assertion the other day, I think it's going to be a conference with a lot of like good teams that you think are pretty good, but just no one jumping out ahead of everybody else. It looks like the odds makers are kind of right there with you.
That was the first thing that I saw that jumped out to me. I'm like, it's bad news for the Pac-12, because you mentioned the 9-game conference schedule, and I know we want to kind of look at the Pac-12, how you would fix it. I almost feel like one of the things I would do if I was the commissioner is look at scheduling and go to an 8-game conference schedule, like go the opposite direction, like get a couple easy wins, give your team a chance to just get to that double-digit win total so you're more in the conversation. I thought the surprising one was Arizona State, like that they're the same as USC, and yet like when you look at it, they're heading the right direction. There's a lot of optimism. And then my other thought was, what happens to Clay Helton if they hit the number exactly? Like that's almost your worst case. If you're a USC fan or any one of you guys who want Clay Helton out of there, like what if it's good, but it's not great, but it's not awful? Like, do you go one more year? And that's like the tweener zone that you don't want to be in.
And shout out to the Peristyle podcast. Ryan Abraham at USC Football does an awesome job. Their fans would go nuts if they go 9-3, I think, because that is like the worst possible outcome.
Yes.
Like, give them 11-1, give them 5-7, give them something where there's no doubt in either direction. 9-3,
purgatory.
Is just, yeah,
awful.
Exactly. Although I mean 8-4. Mike, they're AD now. Mike, the guy that got from Cincinnati, Mike Bone. At some point, you want to put your own stamp on the program, right? As the AD, because you don't get an unlimited number of years as an AD either. And I understand why they kept Clay Helton, because apparently they owe him a lot more money than a lot of us in the media realized, certainly more than I realized. And I don't know they had as much money to spend as maybe we thought. Otherwise, maybe James Franklin is the coach there right now. But at some point, you got to decide, like, you want to get your own guy in there, or you're endorsing the guy who's in there. And 9-3 would be a really difficult call. On Arizona State, what games are they underdogs in? At Utah? Probably at Washington. Are they dogs at home to USC?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I can't guarantee it. It might be like a 1 or 2 point deal, but I could see that being the case come November, because I think USC is probably going to be off to a pretty strong start too. So,
are they dogs at UCLA?
No. Well, UCLA, by the way, on here is at 7. So we've got a 1.5 gap. There are 5 teams between 9 and 8.5. Then we've got a 1.5 drop for UCLA, which is down there at 7, juice to the under. Washington State at 6, juice to the over.
I would bet the under on this if I was forced to.
Yeah.
On Arizona State?
SC?
Yeah, no, on Arizona State. I have a hard time seeing them get to 10-2, because that basically means you split Washington, USC, at Utah, at UCLA, and have no upsets in any other games. And that seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Any Clay Helton haters want to take the under on USC? I'll take the over.
No.
So I don't want the I don't want the under.
Thinking
the
about
over's
it.
Juiced. But I mean, here's the thing, like, what does Mike Bone do if USC's 9-3? He does the same thing he does if they're 10-2, they're 8-4, or anything that doesn't involve winning the Pac-12. You fire Clay Helton and you get a new coach.
And you think he does that?
I don't know if he does.
I liked the listener.
What he should do.
I like the listener mailbag. By the way, mailbag episode, if you want to get it in, as always, leave a 5-star review and your question in the mailbag. But last mailbag episode, the listener pointed out, it's like, hey, like if that's the Luke Fickell, like 8-4 is probably like a fickle or bust situation. You pick up the phone, you say, "Hey, Luke, how's it going? Here's the deal. Here's what it would be." No, okay, and then you keep Clay Helton. But if it's yes, then you bring in Luke Fickell and you go ahead and make that happen. That's what I think that purgatory is. Is it you don't fire and then start a search? You only fire once you know you've got the replacement lined up.
I think you got to make a decision to get out of purgatory. Now, who knows which way you go when you get out of there, but that's how you get out.
I've got, is Justin Wilcox in trouble if he goes 5-7?
I saw that. It kind of piqued my eyebrow a little bit. I don't think he's in trouble because I don't think that Cal is at a place where it's like, bowl game or, you're gone. I think that obviously it wouldn't be a good season for it. It wouldn't be a good thing for his overall status as the coach there. But I don't think he's in a position where he's going to get fired this year unless like things completely bottom out or a bunch of other stuff goes wrong within the program. So 5-7, I'm not worried about it for Wilcox.
That Cal number's 5.5, by the way, and it is juiced to the over.
He'd be hired away so quickly. Like Justin Wilcox is really well respected by other coaches. He's a good recruiter. He's in a place where you really can't win at Cal. What they have a couple years there in the early 2000s where they had Aaron Rodgers and a couple guys and they did decently, but like they're not going to Rose Bowls, like they're getting close to bowls, making some bowls. That's kind of your ceiling at Cal. I feel like they also have a really tricky non-conference schedule. They have to go to TCU and they open up hosting Nevada, who has Carson Strong, who's a really damn good quarterback. And Nevada, I think, is a program on the rise. That's a tough schedule. And they also have to get, they get USC and Oregon and Washington. Like this is not a good draw for them this year.
So you think it could be a quality team that if they go 6-6, that's a really good season. And if they go 5-7, then it was mostly because of the draw. And when you say he would be hired away, is that like if things start to get a little bit tough, he would have options for lateral moves, or
he would be like one of those $2 million defensive coordinator types instantly. I think.
Bingo. I see what you're saying.
A rehab job somewhere. Like let's say Alex Grinch goes and gets a job somewhere. Oklahoma recruits California. Yes, exactly.
Not the Dana leave West Virginia to go take Houston, but instead like a little bit more of the go join a successful staff where you can get paid a whole bunch of money to be DC.
Yeah, and you look at that schedule. There's they've got the early bye, and then they finish up with 7 straight games. But more than anything, 3 of their last 4 games are on the road. So that's a team that's probably going to be limping to the finish line.